From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
We had our first real taste of winter weather with snow overnight into the morning.
And things are settling down, but is the snowfall truly over? Kevin's here with your first look at the evening forecast. Hey, Kevin.
And the best way to put it, I think, Amanda, is the accumulating snow is over. Back to that in a second. I don't know if you were smiling this morning or not when you had to clean off your car. It was a heavy, wet snow, maybe 1 to 3 inches in many spots. This was my car in Hendricks County. That's the way we started the day, and then the meltdown was on. Almost 4 inches of snow up in Howard County near Kokomo. Frankfort, 2.5 in the metro area, 1 to 2 inches. Broad Ripple at 1.8. Okay, now we're state divided, really. Western Indiana, not much happening. Eastern portions of the state, we have some ongoing light snow, some snow showers of varying intensity just along 74 there in Shelby County near Shelbyville. You may have reduced visibility a little bit. Also along I-70 once you get into Wayne County back toward Newcastle, and a little along I-69 in Madison County. Temperatures are below freezing. As we go through the overnight, we may mix in a little freezing drizzle. We'll have to keep our eye on that, see if it actually materializes. But freezing drizzle could lead to some slick spots in the morning, with temperatures expected to be anywhere from 24 to 27 degrees. Mark?
Kevin, thank you. I want to give you the very latest numbers tonight from the State Department of Health. Another 6,283 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. 125 more Hoosiers have died with the virus, bringing the total number of deaths to 6,781. Since March, more than 440,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, and more than 5 million tests have been administered in Indiana. Healthcare workers at IU Health Methodist were among the first to get the COVID-19 vaccine in Indiana today. Methodist is one of 5 pilot hospitals in the state, and it's the first in Indianapolis to receive Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine. About 1,900 doses arrived at the hospital today. Methodist installed 2 ultra-low freezers that can store the vaccine at the appropriate temperature, which is about 100 degrees below zero. The freezers can store up to 500,000 doses of the vaccine. IU Health says about 200 pharmacists and pharmacy technicians will be involved in vaccine distribution, as well as 200 other IU Health employees and volunteers and 400 IU Health learners.
A Martinsville woman says she had to take initiative to call the Morgan County Health Department to find out she tested positive for COVID-19. The retired nurse, who is back working on the front line during this pandemic, says she waited to receive her test results but never got them. Instead of just assuming her results were negative, she decided to ask the health department, who told her she was in fact positive for the virus.
I know accidents happen. This is a pandemic. You don't have airs like that could affect, like I said, hundreds of people that I've been around. Not just down here in Martinsville. I know it's had to happen in other places too. And it really scares me because this is something that can happen. It's an error, it's a mistake.
WRTV reached out to the Morgan County Health Department. They tell us that what happened to Thorpe is not uncommon right now, and people should check with the health department if they do not get their results after a test.
An Indianapolis family is frustrated tonight and looking for answers after the thieves that stole their car got away. Take a look at this. It was all captured on camera. This is at a gas station on 38th and Illinois. The man who owns the stolen car took this video from his phone after using the car's built-in GPS service to track it down. He called IMPD. They sent backup but were unable to locate the people who ran from his car. He says it was stolen from a parking garage on South Meridian downtown. He worries those responsible will do the same thing again to someone else.
Terrifying, really, just to know that that's our future and that the kids are getting taught that this is okay and that it's a fun game, but
they'll do it again.
They'll just they'll keep doing it again, and eventually somebody will get hurt.
He and his family have the car back now, but they lost everything that was inside of it, and it's still in the shop with some major damage tonight. IMPD is asking anyone with information about this case to call them. It isn't the big job he initially ran for, but the former mayor of South Bend is going to the nation's capital anyway. Today, President-elect Joe Biden announced that Pete Buttigieg would be his nominee for Secretary of Transportation. Buttigieg was among the many Democrats who lost to Biden in this year's Democratic primary contest. The role of Transportation Secretary is expected to play a central role in Biden's push for a bipartisan infrastructure package. If he's confirmed by the Senate, Buttigieg would be the first LGBTQ cabinet secretary.
The first guests are now staying at the new BottleWorks Hotel on Mass Ave. It's a story we have been following over the years as developers work to transform the area around the old Coca-Cola bottling factory. Our Cornelius Hawker shows us what one business owner thinks this development will mean during a tough year.
A lot of anticipation in the years and months ahead of the BottleWorks Hotel opening. All the people we talked to leading up to it were hopeful it would be something good for the BottleWorks district.
We're glad that this is going to bring extra business down here.
Overall, we just thought it would be a good location with a brand new hotel coming in.
Now, the hotel is open and accepting guests.
I've always thought that building needed some love and attention and to be put to better use than it was. And so we're very happy about that.
But with so much to worry about over the summer because of the pandemic, Lisa Cunningham, owner of Mass Ave Wine, wasn't so sure this massive project was going to be worth all the good it was supposed to bring.
I was skeptical. I thought, how do you know that? What if they just take business away or take up parking? Or I couldn't see it. And it was just road closures and orange cone land down here.
Lisa tells me she feels differently now after meeting some of the hotel employees.
And they were all gracious and very kind and very excited themselves about our block, which I think is the best block on Mass Ave. If the last week has been any indication, I'm very happy and cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic and looking toward the future when more of what's been promised opens.
What's really going to be the game changer, I think, is when all of the residences are in more office space opens, because that's what's going to bring more foot traffic, I think.
Working for you in the BottleWorks district, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
The holidays won't be as merry for a lot of families this year. Unemployments are set to end soon for 12 million people in the U.S., but there is help available if you're facing that struggle. We do have those details next for you on the news at 7 here.
Millions of Americans have never been in such a dire financial situation as they are right now, because this is all so new for many. Some people are not aware of the government programs available to help. Alicia Nieves explains what's out there and why applying for them now might be key for you.
People around the country have been waiting at least 8 months for Congress to pass another stimulus package.
It seems like every time we get really, really close and then nothing transpires.
Elizabeth Pancotti is a policy advisor at Employ America.
There's like a sense of urgency within the halls of Congress, but that sense of urgency was there at the end of July when the $600 top-off expired.
Pancotti says those who have lost their job and can't afford to pay rent shouldn't wait to apply for help already available to them. They should consider 3 programs many don't know about, especially if they have never needed this kind of help before.
The first of those is SNAP, more commonly known as food stamps, and that can provide $200 to $600 typically dollars per week. The second program is TANF, or Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. Now, the problem with TANF is that it does have a work requirement. The third program is going to be on a state-by-state basis, and so some unemployment insurance offices have tried to extend benefits for longer or to top off benefits. For example, in the District of Columbia, they're planning to send checks to every PUA recipient.
It's important to note that SNAP benefits can only be used for food, and while TANF usually has a work requirement, most states are not enforcing that during this pandemic. Most importantly, note that it could take up to 30 days for someone to get enrolled in these programs, so apply now, and apply even with the new stimulus package.
Even if Congress comes to an agreement this week, it is very likely that there will be a lag in getting those top-off payments. You know, if there's a $300 or $400 top-off added to payments, it will be weeks before that starts showing up on checks. It'll be weeks before people who are kicked out of the system will be brought back in.
These 3 programs could get millions through the likely gap in their income. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Indianapolis is shrouded in some low clouds and flurries. What's the weekend look like? We'll have the changing forecast for you coming up.
A sign of support for healthcare workers in Johnson County. Right after dismissal this afternoon, several Franklin school buses and students led a mobile parade to Johnson Memorial Health Hospital. The buses were joined by several law enforcement agencies and fire departments. The event of appreciation was the second held outside the facility this year. It's a first in the fight against the coronavirus. A COVID-19 home test is now backed by the FDA for anyone 2 years of age or older. It's the first COVID test that can be used completely at home without a prescription. The test uses a nasal swab, but doesn't go as far back as the swab that you get from a trained healthcare provider. It has an analyzer that connects with an app on a smartphone to help users conduct the test and decipher the results, which come back on the smartphone. The FDA says the test correctly identified 96% of positive samples and 100% of negative samples in those with symptoms.
There won't be any mandatory bubbles for players in the National Football League postseason. In a memo sent this week, the league outlined its COVID-19 protocols for teams that make it to the playoffs. It said, quote, clubs may not require players and staff to stay at a hotel. The memo states the decision was made based on looking at the number of positive cases in the league and comparing it to the possible spread among players and staff gathered at one hotel. Daily testing will continue for teams that qualify for the playoffs. The memo also said each playoff team should plan to use 2 planes for road games, and seats should be assigned strategically to allow for social distancing. The 2020 postseason is slated to begin on January 9th. And they had to postpone it for 1 week because of the weather, but if you head downtown this Saturday, you will have a chance to pick up that last-minute special gift. Our Lauren Casey spoke to Jennifer Hansen with Downtown Indy about this weekend's holiday market on the Circle.
At Downtown Indy, we are trying to bring people downtown to enjoy the holidays. The Circle of Lights is up. There's plenty of things to do. And so we wanted to showcase something outside where it's safe and you could socially distance yourselves. And we have a holiday market on the Circle this Saturday coming up from 3 to 7 p.m.
And so why is this holiday market so important for, not only the people to be able to get outside and do something fun ahead of the holidays that's safe, but the people participating, like the patrons and employees? Why is it so important this time of year that we support them?
Absolutely. Well, we partnered with the Arts Council of Indianapolis, Yelp, and the Indianapolis City Market, and they reached out to their vendors and their crafters and artists and invited them because we know that they haven't been able to work a lot. So for giving them the chance to come out and be able to sell their unique items for the holidays is really important. Gives them a chance to get out and sell some of their work. And then it's a great opportunity for you and all of us to come out and shop local. Some great unique finds from these vendors that will be downtown on Saturday.
And we know there is a push to shop local and support our businesses right here in Indianapolis and central Indiana. And a lot of times it's hard to do in this pandemic if you don't want to leave your home or you don't want to go inside the stores. So what are some of the safety protocols you guys are putting in place so that people who are thinking about coming to this can go out and still feel safe?
Sure. Well, when you come downtown on Saturday, obviously it's outside. You will still be required to wear a mask. But we will have social distancing in place. You can only go one way, where the other people on the other side will go one way. So we're keeping people 6 feet apart, and we'll have hand sanitizer on site. All the things that you see at the stores nowadays, we're going to make sure that everyone is safe and still able to get some great gifts for the holidays.
And our thanks to Jennifer Hansen with Downtown Indy. The holiday market on the Circle is this Saturday from 3 until 7 p.m. on Monument Circle. There's more info at downtownindy.org. Kevin, what's it going to look like for shoppers on Saturday? A little far out there.
Temperature should be in the low 40s. That's a positive. You may have a little rain or rain-snow mix, but chances are better it's dry. Holiday lights, we've been showing these off for a while. This is the McNabb household. Thanks to Patrick for sharing this picture. Love the lights, and if you look closely, I see in the far left window a little Christmas tree and then also stockings in the window. Well, don't forget Christmas nights, the lights out at the state fairgrounds. In weather like this where you have some snow, all of those holiday lights will reflect off the snow and create an even more beautiful picture. Bet you went out and measured. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. You probably helped clean off some of the snow. Most of us in the metro area of Indianapolis, about 2 inches. Spots to the north had anywhere from 2 to 3 with isolated higher amounts. There's the official amount for Indianapolis, that at 1.7 inches. Want to start to the northeast, New York City, Boston, Philadelphia could see anywhere from 12 to 14 inches of snow. New York's had snowfall rates at 1 to 2 inches per hour, 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts here in the last couple of hours. All the way back into Indiana, you get to the very back edge of the snowfall. I think the moisture that will be trapped in the lowest levels will keep some flurries going, even a little patchy drizzle. With temperatures below freezing, we'll have to be careful, especially bridges, overpasses where the air gets underneath the roadway. Anything untreated may be slick. Temperatures start in the 20s tomorrow, only make their way a little above the freezing mark. Lots of cloud cover around. That'll keep us from getting too warm. Temperatures above freezing, but not by a lot. If you look at Friday, we've got some sunshine. That's the best thing I can say. Friday temperature also climbs above 40. 42 with that slight chance for a rain-snow mix Saturday. Sunday, we back off the temperature temporarily back into the 30s. Friday includes sunshine and clouds, 34 at noon, afternoon high at 41. As we go into the northeast portion of the state on Friday, the cooler temperatures will be there. Those will be pushed out just for the day, and then as we get to the weekend second half is when the cooler air will start to settle back in. Monday's high temperature well into the 40s, and we'll have a nice little run up to Christmas where temperatures are in the middle to upper 40s. Low temperatures will climb above freezing. May see rain mixed with some snow late on Wednesday. Beyond this, looks like temperatures will fall back closer to average, which is closer to that 40-degree mark or upper 30s. We'll be back with more news right after this.
If you have not ordered your Christmas gifts yet, you have a few more days to do so at Walmart. The retailer announced its shipping deadlines to get deliveries in time for the holiday. For 2-day shipping, orders must be placed by December 19th. The 21st is the deadline for next day delivery, and orders must be placed by December 23rd at 4 p.m. local time for in-store pickup on Christmas Eve. Many retailers are warning of delivery delays because of the increase in online shopping. Experts also warn shipments of the COVID vaccine could also impact delivery times.
If you want to keep your brain sharp as you get older, the secret may be adding more wine and cheese to your diet. At least that's the theory of a study from Iowa State University. A research team analyzed biomedical data from nearly 1,800 adults. Between 2006 and 2016, participants completed a test and follow-ups that give an in-time snapshot of their ability to think on the fly. The Iowa team found cheese protected the most against age-related cognitive issues like Alzheimer's disease. Drinking alcohol each day, red wine in particular, was also related to cognitive improvements. The analysis does have a warning for anyone at risk for Alzheimer's disease already, and that is stay away from too much salt.
Just when you thought kangaroos could not get any cuter, it looks like they can communicate with us like domesticated animals do. Researchers set up a task of unsolvable problems. They gave the kangaroos food trapped inside a plastic container. When the animals could not open the boxes, they would look at a nearby human. Sometimes they would even nudge the human or scratch them to ask for help. 9 of the 11 kangaroos would alternate their gaze between the container and to the person. The scientists call that a heightened form of communication. It had been thought only domesticated animals like dogs, cats, and sometimes goats were capable of that type of intentional connection.
What would you expect from an animal with a pouch? Chick-fil-A's slogan asks people to eat more chicken, and a Pennsylvania man has taken that request a little too seriously. For more than 130 days, Matt Stout has eaten Chick-fil-A because he wanted to break an unofficial record. He started the challenge in July, eating at the fast food restaurant every day it was open because he saw another man in California do the same for 114 days. And you could probably guess that by now he's a little chickened out.
I love it, Mark. If I had a drumstick, I would go to-doon.
See what you did there.
Get it? Drumstick? All right, temperature 32 at noon tomorrow. We may have some flurries, light freezing drizzle overnight.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 11.